Welcome to another edition of Anglican Unscripted. This is the Friday edition, the last news you need to know before the weekend edition. I'm Kevin Carlson.
And I'm George Conger, the happiest priest in the state of Florida. Today is November 18th, 2016.
So the lottery came through for you. Okay, I'm here with Father Happy, and we're going to do a new show about Anglicanism. We got a lot of new viewers to the show. We want to catch you up on what the program is. This is Anglican Unscripted, where two guys sit in front of their webcams and talk about the news of the church, sometimes Anglican, sometimes not. Hopefully always church, sometimes politics. It happens. We talk about what's happening around us. And you guys watch. Sometimes you like it, sometimes you don't. A lot of times you comment and send us emails. We appreciate the feedback. That's what Anglican Unscripted is, a great chance to catch you up on the news and talk about the world around us. George, you've been taking amphetamines? What's going on here?
No, I just won the lottery of life. I have a wonderful parish. I live in a beautiful state. The sun is shining. It's 78 degrees, no humidity. I love being a priest. I love everything about life. I have a wonderful wife and kids. What more can I want?
That's sad. I have to create artificial light in here to show that it's very cloudy outside, but I'm still happy too. Joy of life. Let's get on to the news. A lot of people, hopefully, remember last week's episode. We talked about the land grab going on in Egypt between the parties who've been there a long time and reacted to the English throne and some of the politics behind that. And we said, it'd be kind of really cool if you wrote the consulate in your country and said, we support Munir Anis and stop the land grab. And now, George, I can prove we have one viewer from down under, of all places.
Archbishop of Melbourne, Philip Freer, who's the primate of Australia, wrote to his country, the ambassador to Egypt to Australia, urging Egyptian government support for Munir Anis in his legal battle. That's a wonderful thing. We congratulate Archbishop Freer for doing the right thing. And folks, you can do it too. You don't have to be an archbishop. Write to the Egyptian consulate, write to the Egyptian embassy, and voice your support for the embattled Diocese of Egypt. It's the right thing. We need to help these guys, folks.
Absolutely.
And it'll only cost you 48 cents.
In America, it costs you 48 cents. You don't have to be a primate. Bishops, clergy, and laity can write to your local consulate and say, listen, stop the land grab. If only people had written to the embassy here in America when tech was grabbing our churches. But I'll let that's behind us. We're moving on. Let it go. Let it go. Let it go.
She lost, Kevin. Let it go. Let it go.
I'm sorry. Let it go. Deep breath. Boy, the pictures after the election. Wow. But let it go. All right. So let's talk about Gafcon news. At the last Gafcon Primates meeting, there was a document that they circulated amongst themselves saying, this is the best explanation of what's going on in England. And we're going to name some names just so you let you know how prevalent this may be. As all documents written on paper tend to be, they leak to the press at one point or another, George.
Yes, Gafcon UK produced a situation report that was distributed not during the meeting, but after the meeting to the Global South primates and leaders. Basically, what is the situation on the ground? Who's doing what? And how is this being handled by the hierarchy? It's a sort of document we've...
Yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Before we get too far, every event I've gone to, somebody has produced a document, because when I go to a Lambeth or I go to some of these things here in America, I'll talk to these bishops around the world and says, well, the Episcopal Church assures me this is not happening, that they're not suing churches. Lambeth has assured us that this is not going on here and that they have the situation taken care of. And so this paper is to override the assurances people are getting, George.
It's the sort of document we've seen produced in the United States for 15, 20 years. The American Anglican Council has, they put together a document listing every single lawsuit. As you mentioned, Kevin, Oh, we're not suing anybody. Well, here's the AAC document naming and shaming all these dioceses and people who are suing parishes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was either given or leaked to a number of publications. We were given a copy of it, and we popped it up on our website, and we had a very sort of dry anodyne statement from Situation Report
Sure.
on Lamb.
Yeah. Well,
Well, with this one publication, Christian Today, who I don't know if the Gafcon UK people were quite thinking this through when they gave it to them. They took it and they put a title on it called Name and Shame Document, and then they got all these liberal reactions in order to frame the document as a horrendous gaffe on the part of Gafcon UK. So what really happened was not that this was a gaffe or this was a mistake or false statements were made, but rather how it was packaged for consumption in the UK was from a liberal perspective. And the result has been civil war within the conservative movement in England.
yeah, the liberals aren't overreacting. They're like, oh, they named us, proud to be named. The conservatives, Orthodox aren't overreacting. There's kind of this mishmash within, I would say, the evangelical order, where they're like, you guys don't understand. We're trying to work with these people, and we can't be doing this because it won't work. Well, at this point, I have to say what has been done over these years, almost 3 generations now, hasn't worked. Maybe it's time for a different tact, kind of the Apostle Paul tact. If I remember correctly, he admonished Alexandria, and I'll never get this name right, Hymenius. Yeah, it's close enough. Yeah, I'm not, a Greek scholar. And so, you know, naming names goes all the way back to the Apostle Paul. That's how far further, but as far as you want your New Testament scholars.
There's also a class issue here.
Hmm?
And this battle is being fought out on Facebook, where some people are saying that we are insiders, and this public document you put out is undermining our inside strategy to reform the church. Who are you to make this noise? You are not the important people within the evangelical movement. You are not the right people, the right sort. And there really is sort of a nasty classist conceit in these arguments that, oh, well, I'm a bishop and I'm on this committee and now I can't be sweetness and light to the other liberals on the committee because now they're now embarrassed. Well, maybe it's an English thing, folks, but frankly, this is ludicrous and laughable. And here's the joke of it. These are the same people who, in the weeks and months before the U.S. election, offered all sorts of fanatically stupid comments and analyses and knowledge of American culture, knowledge of the American political system. And now, when the hoi polloi are offering their own responses to the British system, their response has been, oh, horrors, you can't say anything because you're ignorant. Well, ignorance didn't stop them from making fools of themselves on the U.S.
Yeah,
So,
we're equal opportunity ignorance. It exists on both sides of the ocean.
see, here's Ronald Reagan, and put it in an American perspective. Ronald
Okay.
Reagan was successful because he basically changed the pattern of no enemies within the conservative movement.
Mm-hmm.
We may be social conservatives, we may be economic conservatives, we may be this sort of conservative. Reagan was able to build a coalition where people stopped sniping at each other.
11th commandment.
And the left is the same. The left has a mantra, no enemies on the left. They may disagree profoundly, but they stick together. English churchmen have yet to learn this rule. And in fact, they are nastier to each other than they are to the opposition. And the only result is that they are going to be destroyed, picked off one at a time. The go along, get along guys are going to survive and sort of fade away and into obscurity and have a nice little job somewhere where they kept the faith, but they accomplished nothing.
Yep.
And then the loudmouth guys who are really fighting the good fight, they're being ostracized and pushed away by their own people. Uh, Folks, look at the Episcopal Church. Look at the Canadian Church. There is a path that is being followed here, and you guys, with your self-righteous, indulgent explanations of outrage, frankly, it doesn't cut it, folks. Get a backbone, get a spine.
I imagine a time in the not so distant future where a new leader in the Church of England will get up and say, "Listen, I know all the conservatives are gone, but we need to reach out to the conservatives. We need to put them back in places where they can be respected within the Church of England." Oh, wait, that happened here in America. We finally had the presiding bishop reach out symbolically and let the conservatives play in his playground. So we'll have to see
Kevin,
what
I
happens.
have been covering the Church of England going on about 15 years. I can remember talking to evangelical clergy in the year 2000, 2001, 2002, saying, who were really hot to make an issue and do things, and they're strong evangelicals. And then one or two of them become bishops. And once they become bishops, well, we need to be collegial. We need to work within the system. We can't rock the boat. Being a bishop in England involves removing the spine. I really, there are exceptions. Michael
Yes, there are.
Nazir Ali,
Yeah.
Wallace Ben, and even George Carey. George Carey fought the good fight as he saw it. George Carey fought for women priests. Whether you believe it or not, whether you like it or not, George Carey had an integrity and an intensity that he was not going to go along to get along. He was going to do what he thought was right.
Hmm.
We don't see that among conservative leaders, bishops anymore. We see, let's protect the institution.
Absolutely.
And,
Yep.
and you know, what do you got? You got a church that's all but dead.
All but maybe Gafcon can help it out. Gafcon UK. George, let's move on to some other news. Big news.
Let me just, Kevin,
Okay.
and
Sure. You want to
okay,
finish up?
somebody should
That's
say,
fine.
well, Kevin's going to say, well, who are you? Who are you, some guy in the boonies in Florida, to say that, give us advice?
Yeah,
Well, I
Father
am who I
Happy.
am. Well, I am who I am. But here in our little county, the
Hmm?
percentage of people who go to the Episcopal Church are greater than the percentage of people who go to the Church of England on Sundays. So I guess I'm working with the same, we have 2 to 3% of the population of our little county in church on Sunday. That's how they're doing it in England. So I'm
Hmm?
working in the same environment, folks, except I'm not established.
Well, maybe a little established. All right. So let's move on to some big news. George and I are going on vacation in 2018. We're going to go to
Miami
Jerusalem.
Beach.
No, sorry. No, no. Our vacation is going to be in Jerusalem. We're going to Gafcon 3, the trifecta. It'll be kind of fun, George.
It'll be a lot of fun.
Huh? Well, let's explain a little bit about that.
Why will
The
it be
first,
fun? The
oh, the
food will be
first
bad.
Gafcon, we had a lot of fun at the first Gafcon in Jerusalem.
Yeah, we sort of
Um,
wandered into East Jerusalem by accident. What
it
are
was an
these men with
accident.
submachine guns doing?
George and I
Who are these?
went
What's
down
this?
to the
Hamas?
hotel. We went down to the hotel lobby, and said, "Let's go out for dinner." So I asked the 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 maitre d guy, "What's the best place? Where do people go when they want to go out to dinner?" And he wrote down on a piece of paper the name of this restaurant. And to be fair, it was a great restaurant. And I couldn't read it. It was in some Sanskrit, I think. And we gave it to the taxi driver. The taxi driver was like, looks at us, okay. And how many gates did we go through, George, to get to this restaurant?
And, I'm not used to showing my passport and smiling out of a window with a guy with a machine gun, but we found the restaurant. And
We did. Everybody, surrounded by people with assault weapons, well protected, but the food was really good, and the ambiance was pure Middle Eastern. It was a great place to eat, George.
so that's why we're going back, is it, Kevin?
I don't know. I want to get postcards. No, we're going back because GAFCON has decided once every 10 years to return to where it started, and that's Jerusalem. We were there for GAFCON 1. We saw the signing of the Jerusalem Declaration. We saw the formation of a church that wants to, I'm not going to say church, of an organization that wants to do it right, that wants to be sure that at the end of the day, they did everything they could in their power to hold together the faith that was delivered to them. And yeah, wow. It was just a great moment to be there. I have all the videos on tape. If you want to watch it, I'll put a link up here so you can go to the playlist on YouTube. But of all the things you've attended, George, it's got to be certainly the top five.
Yes, I had a wonderful time, and really, to see there's something special in seeing the clergy vested of men and women of every color, every race, every background, dozens of languages, praising Jesus Christ simultaneously.
Hmm.
That sense of the Catholicity and the universality of the Church is something that is really special about the Gafcon movement. That I and my brothers and sisters from Asia, Africa, South America, Oceania, Europe, even members of the House of Bishops of the Church of England, are together as one in praising Jesus Christ and standing strong in the face of our adversaries for the gospel. Man, this is a wonderful experience. It really was for me.
Watch for the tape in 2018 as George and I put on our suntan lotion and hit the beaches of Jerusalem. There's no beaches of Jerusalem. Whatever.
Yeah, there's the Dead Sea, Kevin. We went to the Dead Sea.
Yeah, I've been there. It's fun. It's unique. It's no place to float. I'm Kevin Carlson.
And I'm George Conger, and you've been watching episode 259 of Anglican Unscripted.